welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the love reading, general love reading for Libra for March 8th to the 15th. Now this is a outlook into a connection that Libra has with someone else, because we're going to be pulling your cards, Libra, and your person's cards. So this is not like the general monthly outlook. This is specifically to look at a particular love connection, soulmate connection, twin flame, whatever you want to call it. It may indeed be in challenge or momentary separation, right? But we'll see what happens when the cards come out, right? We can only tell what the story is that the cards want to tell, right? So let's get right into it, Libra. I've already been shuffling your cards off camera. We can get right into it. All right, straight out. Your person is resonating with the King of Pentacles, and you are resonating with Eight of Cups. They see you as a Five of Swords, and you see them as an Eight of Swords. And they see the relationship as a Ten of Pentacles, and you see your part in the relationship as a Four of Swords. Well. There's disappointment, toxicity. Money is involved, certainly. We have at the bottom of the deck, Libra, Seven of Swords. Well, how many toxic cards can we get in one, or toxic energies, rather, can we get in one reading? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 cards here. They're all very difficult, challenging energies to deal with. I'm going to come back to the Seven of Swords. It is the card for futility and treachery, all right? So certainly behind the scenes, someone is influencing this relationship with some energy. But let's get right into it, Libra. Shit. Your person is resonating with King of Pentacles, and you are resonating with Eight of Cups. You want to leave, and they are the king of the hill. This is a situation absolutely where I believe someone is really kind of holding it over you, that they have the money. They are holding the purse strings. Your person is resonating with King of Pentacles. So that indicates that they are definitely doing well financially, right? They are the king of what they do in terms of their career, their business. They may even own their own business. They can be certainly very arrogant and domineering, but quite frankly, I'm going to say the most important, not even the most important thing, but their focus is money. Right? Their focus is certainly money, status, prestige, and all of those things that can come with the King of Pentacles. Now, the King of Pentacles is a healthy, he's a king, right? He's the king of the material world, but I'm interpreting it this way because of the abundance of sort of difficult energies that are here. And right now, this King of Pentacles, who would normally be a benefactor, maybe even a mentor, a support in a lot of ways to somebody in their career, here it definitely feels very much like an egocentric sort of viewpoint, someone who is very, very sort of focused only on status and money and being sort of at the top. You, however, are resonating with Eight of Cups, and this is a feeling of you having had enough. Eight of Cups is this energy of saying, look, the energy I get from you is not worth the energy I put into this relationship. Eight of Cups is when you have decided that you're going to put boundaries in place, right? You've been dealing with somebody who's really been sucking your energy. And oftentimes, Eight of Cups certainly talks about a feeling that you have been pouring your heart, your emotions, your energy, your time into cups that really aren't worth it. Right? You have if you imagine you have a golden chalice that your energy is in, and you're pouring it into a sort of chipped, half broken, iron, alloy cup. You know what I mean? The difference is huge, right? And so it's interesting because this is certainly a Libra who is right now in challenge with this union. Certainly you are thinking about leaving this union, right? Eight of Cups is a very determined energy, right? The person has turned his back on relationships that don't suit him. The Eight of Cups is a very intentional energy. It's positive in a lot of ways because it is positive for your own growth, Libra, right? Oftentimes when we make this Eight of Cups type of decision, It is for the better, right? Because you're choosing to have a higher level of engagement. You're choosing to have a deeper connection, and you're choosing to turn your back on those who don't reciprocate that. Now, how do you see each other? Well, here we go. Your person sees you as the Five of Swords, and you see them as the Eight of Swords. Well, they see you as someone that they can sort of beat. Right? They see you resonating with Five of Swords energy. So Five of Swords is the card for defeat. And it's interesting to note the way we interpret the Five of Swords. Oftentimes when you are coming from this card's point of view yourself, right, you concede defeat because you don't want to be embroiled in this sort of battle, right? But when somebody sees you as the Five of Swords, it's a real feeling of... you know, a battle that they're having with you, a battle of wits, right? And they're willing really to do anything they can to win, right? They see you as being a defeatist. They see you as someone who perhaps is, I don't know, to a certain degree, they want to beat you, right? They want to beat you. There's some jealousy perhaps there. And when I say beat you, I mean like not physically, but I'm saying 5 is always the number for power struggle, right? And it feels to me here that they are, you know, they will do anything and everything to sort of defeat you in some kind of way, to have power over you or to have sort of dominion over you. They really don't mind sort of resorting to underhanded tactics. It's very, you know, it's quite toxic energy. You know, it's very immature. You know, it's very immature. And certainly for them to see you like this, for them to see you as someone who is defeated or defeatable, whatever, you know, whatever sort of avenue they take to do that, it's tough. It's very tough. Certainly in a relationship, I'm going to say that your individual Libra, your person is probably very domineering. They probably believe that their way is always the right way, right? You see them as an Eight of Swords. And so you see them as completely sort of, I'm going to say like toxic. Right? You see them as toxic. You see them as unwilling to take responsibility for their actions. You see them as someone who may gaslight you. They may play the victim. A lot of sort of reverse psychology is being employed here. So they play the victim, and then by playing the victim, they try to dominate your decisions. Eight of Swords are individuals who are generally alienated by their own very restrictive outlook and thinking. And this is how you see them. You see them unable to sort of move, change, progress. I'm sorry, I have like chocolate laying around. My cat is like eating it. Sorry, guys, I have to stop for a second and get her out the way. Move, move, move. All right, so yeah, it's really quite, this is a really, really toxic dynamic. There isn't any love here, right? There's no more love. There's no more affection. This is a relationship of a battle of wills, all right, that consists of a battle of wills. And I think that your person believes that they can win no matter what because they hold the purse strings, they hold the money, they have the status and the success. Not to say that you don't, but it's their outlook, right? Now, how do you guys see the relationship? Well, this is interesting. Here we get into a real coded, here we get into more of the kind of upside. I don't even say there's no upside to codependency, but codependent relationships absolutely require the stick and the carrot, right? That's what makes them codependent. At one point, somebody's getting the stick and another person's getting the carrot. And it's interesting that this is how you guys would see the relationship and your roles in it. Your person sees it as a 10 of Pentacles. So they feel as though they're doing everything to provide a financial and stable environment. They feel that they are doing great. You know, they feel like their input is positive, is necessary. They feel quite complete in terms of that area, right? They are certainly the ones who are looking at themselves as the breadwinner, right? The one who brings the stability financially and therefore is also in control. A lot of times, of course, 10 of Pentacles generally indicates a very completed it's a completion. Tens are always completion and a beginning. And a lot of times 10 of Pentacles can certainly indicate a desire for you, certainly in a relationship, for you to sort of increase your commitment because you now have the finances to support that. So what I mean to say is that an increase of commitment would be getting married or having children or moving or starting the next leg of your life together, right? All of that also requires financial stability. It requires a certain level of abundance, right? And your person sees that. And I think that in a lot of ways, they still somehow see this relationship as the way it should be, because they are very much looking at it from the point of view of dollars and cents. They're, this is a very kind of value kind of outlook that they have, in the sense that, they feel like, well, I bring the money, I'm making sure that we live in a lap of luxury. And so this should be all that we need and we can carry forward. Interestingly enough, you see yourself in this relationship right now as a Four of Swords. So you're strategizing your next move, right? You're strategizing. You're kind of retreat to your corner and say, look, okay, we've gotten this far. There is a certain amount of stability here, but how do I make my next move? And this is why I say that the codependent relationships are all about the carrot and the stick, oftentimes at the same time, because despite all the toxicity here, there is still a feeling of wanting to carry on. Your person wants to carry on. They feel like nothing is wrong. They feel like as long as the money is pouring in, everything is the way it should be. It's complete. You guys can carry on with your commitment, maybe even have children. And you are not necessarily, although you want to leave, you are still kind of here in this space thinking of like, well, what's my next move? I'm not just ready to up and leave. I want to leave, if I do leave, I want to leave a certain way. Or maybe there is a way for me to stay and have what I want, right? You resonate on your own with this Eight of Cups. So deep down, you do feel like, the connection is not really what you want. I almost feel the spirit of the shark coming in here. If we were to pull animal spirits, I would feel the spirit of the shark coming in, because in a lot of ways, that the shark talks about sort of really ignoring your deeper feelings and the danger of that, because they will ultimately come out. And I think your deeper feeling really is that you don't want this connection. However, this Four of Swords gives me pause for thought. It makes me feel like, well, you're kind of on the fence. You want to leave, but at the same time, you're not quite ready just to take that plunge to leave. You're kind of trying to strategize. I think in a lot of ways, Libra, you may be thinking, well, can I still have my cake and eat it too? And this could really be revolving around the money, right? Can I still have this connection with this person because the money is good, the environment is good. You know what I mean? Do I have to, how can I sort of, I don't know, how can I make the right move, without taking any risk, right? That's what Four of Swords is really about, minimizing the risks. And a lot of times when you're in a situation like this, where you deep down inside, you really feel like you want to leave, there's always going to be risks. That's the problem with making that decision. You have to choose, is it worth it? You may leave and you may end up financially a little bit worse off because of the split. You may find yourself having to rebuild your life because you've left. Yes, those things are difficult, but that is, that's the plunge that you take. And although having this Four of Swords here, it just seems to me like you're trying to mitigate the loss. You're trying to sort of ease it, right? And unfortunately, that generally, I'm going to say, usually when we are looking at trying to deal with a situation like that without accepting the risks of a full decision, right? You kind of half-stepping here. You only ever just remain in this cycle. You only just ever remain in this cycle. And so this is what I mean by this being sort of the flip side of a very codependent relationship. Yeah, very, very codependent. So Seven of Swords at the bottom of the deck, certainly over here, is talking about futility and treachery. Let me cut your deck, your clarity cards from the cosmic deck, and see if we can get some clarity on this. Libra. I know it's hard to say goodbye sometimes, especially when you're used to a certain lifestyle or you're used to a certain environment or you're just afraid that, you're going to regret your decision. But unfortunately, if this is how you really feel, if you're really resonating with an Eight of Cups, which is really a deep, deep kind of dissatisfaction, right? In a union, trying to strategize your way out of it, or trying to strategize a way to sort of control it, just doesn't work. I would say we're going to pull some romance angel messages, but I wouldn't be surprised if letting go of control issues came out. All right, guys, the Empress is coming for your person and the Eight of Cups. Damn. You resonate with the Two of Swords. There's your decision, your impossible decision, and there's your Hierophant. All right, there you go. So, yeah, what can I say? It's hard. I know it's hard, Libra. I really do. I understand that, and I don't want you to feel like I'm, coming down on you, but it's like you're unhappy. You're really caught between a rock and hard space. Let's go ahead and check out your person's clarifying cards here. Your person has got the Empress and the Eight of Cups, right? So Eight of Cups here, that's being reclarified. The Empress is all about taking care of herself, right? Nurturing herself, making sure she's okay, feeding her own creative sort of ground, making sure her creative juices are constantly fertilized and nurtured, right? Taking good care of her mind, her body, and her soul. And the Empress is a strong, of course, it's the divine feminine. It's a strong power. Your person is resonating with this. However, I think they're resonating with this in the sense that, yes, it's really all about them. And there's really inherently, with the Empress, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. This is something that we all want in our lives. But when I look at this energy in the context of how you guys are interacting, this Empress energy is very much like, yo, it's about me, me, me. It's about me making sure I'm comfortable in my environment. And like I say, that's good. That's a positive energy to have, but at the same time, there's the Eight of Cups here too, and your person is also resonating with Eight of Cups, right? They're also turning their back to a certain degree on this union, right? But because they also resonate with a high degree of materialism, I don't think they care so much. Eight of Cups certainly indicates turning your back on putting any energy in, right? Now, usually, like I said earlier, Eight of Cups indicates turning your back on a connection because the energy you pour in, you're not getting back, right? Here we have the Eight of Cups, and I think it's very much a very selfish attitude, They're turning their back on this union because they simply don't want to put their energy into it. They're putting all their energy into themselves, right? They're not walking away. They're not necessarily going to a higher level of engagement or wanting to leave for a deeper and higher level of engagement, but they are absolutely resonating with that energy of really sort of putting up boundaries, not wanting to put anything into the connection, not wanting to put anything into the relationship, to build the relationship. And their energy that, the energy that I said here, you're taking with you to seek a higher or deeper level of connection. Here they're taking their energy and just pouring it back into themselves. You are faced with an impossible decision. Here we have the Two of Swords and the Hierophant. And this is what I'm saying. I think to a certain degree there is prospect of getting married here. This person is happy to sort of keep the status quo in the relationship. They're very materialistic and they're very selfish and egocentric. So to them, it doesn't really matter that there isn't a deeper level of engagement. I think to a certain degree they see a Ten of Pentacles here because the next logical step is to get married and to take it to a higher level of commitment, but not because of the love, but because of the status that it gives them. Now they'll be married, they'll have a husband or a wife, whatever the case is. And I think it's all, everything is really very much about them. Even the decision to go to a higher level of commitment with possible marriage and children is all meant to reflect good on them. And that missing component of actual love and connection, they don't really care so much about that. Now, you have a Two of Swords and a Hierophant, and I think for you, it's like, this is the problem why you're having a difficult time making a decision. Two of Swords is really an impossible decision. It's about balance. Certainly, you need to find balance in your life between two options. But here, it's just kind of like, I think you're caught between sort of staying and leaving, because the Hierophant is also there too. And part of you really, really does want that marriage, really does want the children, right? But it's an all or nothing thing. And I think here with the Two of Swords, it makes you really realize that, okay, if I choose for this, if I choose for the commitment, the Hierophant, if I choose for the traditional sort of outlook here, Hierophant also definitely represents tradition in relationships, then I'm going to be stuck in a kind of very traditional marriage that is loveless and miserable. But I want to be married. You know what I mean? And so this is why you're very much in the land of indecision. And you're certainly trying to find the right strategy here with the Four of Swords. But I just don't think it's going to work out for you here, trying that tactic, because you're unhappy. You're not in love anymore. The love isn't there. The affection isn't there. Right? And this is why here we can come back now to the Seven of Swords. This is why you have the card of futility, because everything that you're trying to do to achieve your ultimate goal, which might be the traditional marriage, which might be the, that path, you still feel like all of the actions you're taking are futile. You're still not able to sort of get that that you want out of it, because it's not there. And the other person you're with is not putting it in either. Let's pull out your romance angel messages. Libra, I feel for you, because we've all, I think, been there to a certain degree. But you have to decide for yourself, what is really going to make you happy, Release your ex. All right, one more. And honeymoon. There you go. So, releasing your ex and honeymoon. We're talking about clearing your energy. Could be that for you, I'm going to say Seven of Swords is also treachery. Sometimes it can be interference in a lot of ways by somebody who's trying to seek to undermine this relationship. It could be that there is somebody else who is coming into this relationship and undermining it, right? Yet at the same time, release your ex. There could be, there could also be an ex involved, in the sense that this feels like an arranged union, or it feels like a union of convenience, right? And one of you still has an ex that you may still be very much in love with. Or it could very well be that you've been in a relationship before that went a little bit differently. You're afraid to revisit that experience, and so that is impacting this union, right? It could be that you were in love with somebody, you had your heart broken, and you're saying to yourself, well, what's love got to do with it? At least this time I have money, and I have status, and I have stability. Does it really matter that I'm not completely in love? Does it really matter that the energy exchange doesn't involve a lot of affection or sort of real consideration? So in a lot of, this releasing your ex can impact in a lot of different ways, but certainly you have to sort of deal with this energy here so that you can make the right decision here. Honeymoon, yeah, well, you want that honeymoon. And I think this really impacts, the desire to sort of make the right move here with this Four of Swords, and the unwillingness or the inability to make a decision, because at the same time you do want your honeymoon, you do want your happy ending, right? I'm going to leave it at that. This is a tough reading, Libra. If you're going through something like this and you want to get some deeper clarity on your specific situation, I would urge you to book a private reading with me. We can really look at some of the energies that is impacting your inability to make a decision, or this whole entire scenario. But again, this feels very, very strongly like a loveless union that is based on, in large part, on one person's idea of status and another person's desire to be in a marriage and desire to have that traditional relationship and trying to kind of force a round piece into a square hole, but I don't know that it is actually going to work out. All right, guys, this is your reading March 8th to the 15th. Libra went a little bit longer than usual. This was a deep one. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. I did not mention at the beginning, but I am giving away another Oracle deck this month on my channel, and this month it is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Deck and Guidebook. You get the whole box. I do believe I have an unboxing video on my channel, which I'll try to link below. But for right now, Libra, do have a wonderful week, and I wish you all the best. I'll see you next week for your love outlook. Bye-bye now.